friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I have something that I wanted to share with you that's one of my favorite things to do during the summer. During the summer, my family likes to dehydrate or dry out a lot of different fruits and have those as snacks. So I'm going to show you a couple different fruits that I'm going to dehydrate today. My family uses this, which is called a dehydrator, to dehydrate our fruit. You can also use an oven at a really low temperature to dehydrate things, but because my family does it so often, we went ahead and we bought this. It has a dial to turn to what temperature I want to dehydrate to, and inside it has a fan. And when you plug it in, it starts blowing warm air, and that's how it's going to dehydrate the fruit, is it blows lots and lots of warm air onto it, and that slowly dries it out. Here are some of the things I decided to dehydrate today. So first I did some kiwi. This is what a kiwi looks like before, and I peeled it and cut it into slices. So I'll dehydrate some kiwi. Next I have some mango slices. So here is a mango, and I peeled it and then cut all of the parts around the seed. This was left after I cut it all. A mango has a really long, thin white seed inside. So there is the mango that I'm going to dehydrate. And I have one more. The last fruit I decided to dehydrate today is an apple. So for this one, I peeled the apple and cored it. So I took out the middle with the seeds and I sliced it up. So I'm going to make some apple chips. Those are one of my favorite snacks. I realized after I did the apples that I had some bananas left. So I took one banana, I peeled it and cut it, and I'm going to make some banana chips, just like the ones we would have for snack at school. So I'm going to make some of my own. So now I'm going to plug in the dehydrator, the top with the fan, and I'm going to put it on top of all these layers, and we'll have to wait and see how long it takes for these to dry out and be done. All right, I plugged it in, and if you listen, you can hear the air. And I can feel it. It feels very warm because it's blowing warm air from up here down through all of the layers of fruit. So it's just started, so we'll check back in a couple of hours and see how long it takes for these to dry out. It's been 3 hours since I started all of the fruit in the dehydrator. This is what the kiwis are starting to look like. And I can tell they're not quite done yet because when I press down on them, they're still a little bit squishy. And they're not wet on the outside, but they're not all the way dry. Here's what the mangoes look like. I can tell they're not done yet either, but they are starting to dry out. The outside is dry, but they're still squishy, and they look like they're getting a little bit smaller. Here are the apples. And they are also a little squishy still, but they're close, I think, because they're pretty dried out. And here are the bananas. Now these are also still pretty squishy. So I know they're not ready yet because I remember the bananas that we had in school were dried all the way through. They were hard when you touched them, and these still squish a little bit. All right, so this has been going for 6 hours. So let's check. These aren't all the way dry, but sometimes people don't like the kiwi all the way dried out. They like it so you can still bend it. But I think I might dry it just a little bit longer. Now the mangoes are much drier, and they're feeling like they're getting a little hard in the middle, which is how I like my mangoes. I like my dried mangoes a little bit chewy. So I think the mangoes are finished. So the mangoes took 6 hours. Let's check on our apples. Let's see, let's snap one. So it still doesn't snap all the way. It's still a little moist inside, a little bit wet. So I'm gonna let those keep going. And the bananas aren't quite dry all the way yet, so they're gonna keep going too. So they've been dehydrating for almost 10 hours now. And the bananas are all done. They are not wet anymore. They're really dried out. The kiwis are all finished. They're also all dried out. And the apples are finished. So now I'm going to let them cool down before I put them into bags to store them.